Hi everyone, welcome back. My name is Morgan. This is my channel, Pisces Paperbacks, and this is another episode of Morgan Tries to Film Outside, and hopefully it's not too loud, and hopefully the sun being in my eyes is not too distracting. So this is a book haul. It's been a couple months since I've done a book haul. I think the last one was in January, and I've acquired a lot of books since then, it feels like. And it looks like there's a lot of ebooks. I've been buying a lot of ebooks. I've mentioned a couple times, again, Kindle gift card, been buying things when they're cheap, and I've acquired like several ebooks. So I'm gonna go through those in the second half, but the first half I'm gonna go through all the physical books that I've gotten since January. So one of the reasons I really needed to do this video is because I have been getting the romance, like read, romance, repeat, or romance, read, repeat boxes from the Ripped Bodice for the last 3 months. For Hanukkah, my mom got me a 6-month subscription, and basically it is a book box where you get 2 new release or recent release romances and one like little thing. I don't have the little things here, but once it was like a little calendar, once it was like some stationery, and once it was some body butter, and then I have like the next 3 months to go. And I was planning on doing like an unboxing and a vlog for each of the boxes that I got, but obviously it's April, so that ship has sailed. But I think I'm still gonna do a reading vlog for like the first 3 boxes and then like the second 3 boxes and like wrap them all up together. Anyway, I have 6 books from those specifically that I want to talk about here, and let's start with January. So the January box I got probably in the first week of February, actually, because there was like weather delays, and so the 2 books in that one was The X Talk by Rachel Lynn Solomon, which I'm very excited to read, and I think I might try to read this month, I'm not really sure, and The Way You Hold Me by Elle, Wright. The X Talk is about 2 people who work at a radio station, and they come up with this concept where they would do a talk show giving relationship advice, posing as exes, and they're not actually exes, but they have like, they don't really get along, and so they have these like personas that they're ex partners, but they're also like falling in love in the background. So this seems very cute. I've heard some people like it. I've heard it get like middling reviews, but also like nothing bad enough where I'm not interested. So that looks cute. And then this one is about Sky Palmer, who is a celebrity publicist, and how she has to get involved in like putting a spin on some like nightmare celebrity scandal, but unfortunately her ex-lover, attorney Garrett Steele, is the crisis manager for this celebrity situation, and they are forced to work together again. So both of these are kind of like workplace romances, like dislike to like maybe, but this one's second chance. I don't know. It looks really cute. I'm really excited to read it. I just haven't gotten to it yet because I haven't been reading physically like at all. It's really terrible, and it's again one of the reasons I need to stop buying so many books is because like I don't read the physical books that I own. Like I need to start like thinking about it and doing it. For February, the first book was It's Been a Pleasure, Noni Blake, and this is the one out of all 6 of the books that I've gotten that I'm like the least, not the least interested in, but I'm the most apprehensive, and because I feel like this one's more like chick lit than romance because there's no love interest mentioned in the back synopsis, and usually that's like a hallmark of it like being a romance if it specifically mentions 2 characters. So this is about Noni Blake, and she's kind of been overlooked her whole life, even by herself, and now that she's recently come out of a 10-year-long relationship, she's decided to, I think she wants to travel and, you know, kind of discover who she is. It feels a little Eat, Pray, Love-y in like concept, but I am still interested, and I believe it's a plus-size heroine, so that's exciting. I'm into that. Up next is The Duke Heist by Erica Ridley, and this is okay. Apparently this is like my first time reading this synopsis. This sounds great. It's about Chloe Winchester, and she's kind of a wallflower, and the only father she's ever known makes a dying wish for his adopted family of orphans. So I guess it's like they've all kind of been taken in by this one man. His dying wish is for his family to recover a missing painting. And then there's Lawrence Gosling, the Duke of Faircliff, and he's being forced to wed a highborn heiress to repair his estates after his father's passing, and yet he finds himself in a carriage being driven hell for leather down the cobblestone streets of London by a beautiful woman who refuses to heed his commands. And it's kind of about them, I think, working together. Very cool. Is there like a shadow directly on my face, or can I just not see anything? And then the last romance book that I got was March, and for that, the large book, obviously you've noticed there's like trade paperback a mass market paperback is kind of the pattern, is accidentally engaged by Farah Heron. So I will say I don't love the title of this book. I feel like it's a little on the nose, but the cover's really cute in aesthetic and colors. I'm kind of into that. And also it has a great synopsis. So it's about Rina Manji, I believe her name is pronounced, and she's a baker and a chef, and her family is kind of like, I think, in the business, and she is really tired of her parents like trying to find her like a nice Muslim husband, and they finally find one, and he's perfect in every way. He's the body of Captain America, a delicious British accent, and he lives right across the hall, but he's completely ruined because he works for her parents' company, and because she was introduced to him by her parents, and she refuses to let them like be the ones to like fix up her life. But then they get the chance to do a couples like cooking competition, and so they have to like pose as an engaged couple. Is that not the cutest thing? I am not like an instant fake dating sell. It has to be like a really interesting situation, or it just has to be like a minor trope within the story, but this is one where I'm like, that sounds really cute, so I'm really excited about that. And then the other one for March was The Heiress Hunt by Joanna Shupe. I've never read any Joanna Shupe, but I'm interested in this one because it seems to be a historical romance, obviously, but it's set in New York. It's not a British like Regency or whatever. And again, a man forced to marry an heiress because his father bankrupted the family. And then, so it turns out the heroine in this one, Maddie Webster, her best friend, the guy, left for Paris without a word years ago, and she kind of retreated into her love of tennis. And then now that he's back and needs help finding a bride, she's like, it's so hard watching him flirt with all these ladies. And I think it's Friends to Lovers, and I love Friends to Lovers, so this is gonna be great. Now that I'm done with the romance book box ones, these are books that I think I've mentioned in a video, very briefly, but I bought these from Target a while ago, and that's Spoiler Alert by Olivia Dade. This is a kind of like a nerdy romance with a plus size heroine, and it's about April, who's a hardcore fan of this, I think like Game of Thrones-esque show, and she writes fan fiction and blah 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 whatever, and she posts a picture of herself in cosplay for this show, and because she's plus size, she received a lot of like hate on the internet, and she's confident so she doesn't care, but through a series of events she ends up winning a date with this actor from the show, Marcus, and unbeknownst to both of them, they've actually been online friends like within the fandom for years because he also writes fan fiction about his character. So it seems really cute. I've heard really good things about this one, so I'm super excited. And then the other one was Turtles All the Way Down by John Green. I bought this one because my sister and I want to read it together, and yeah, that's really it. Next I got The Bluest Eye by Toni Morrison. I bought this book because I was supposed to read it like in January for like a book club with a couple of my friends, and I just haven't. I really should, but this book, it stresses me out to think about reading because it seems like a very intense story. I was honestly supposed to read this my senior year of high school, and we ran out of time and everybody was supposed to read it on their own, and then I just never did. So I'll get to it eventually, but it is intimidating to me for some reason. Also from Target, but I don't think it was on the same trip that I got Spoiler Alert and Turtles All the Way Down, I bought myself Amari and the Night Brothers by B.B. Alston. This is a new middle grade fantasy release, and I've heard literally nothing but fantastic things about it. It is about Amari, and her brother goes missing, but nobody believes her when she believes that he's still alive. She finds a briefcase belonging to the Bureau of Supernatural Affairs, and she just kind of gets swept up into this like magical world. I really don't know anything much more than that, but it sounds wonderful, and children being swept up into magical worlds like in a middle grade context is one of my favorite things in the world, so I'm sure I'm gonna love it. 4 physical books left to go, and then like 18 ebooks, so let's get through this a little quicker. I have 2 James Baldwins here. So this is Another Country by James Baldwin. I don't know what this is about, but it was a gift from my grandpa. He had it and he thought that I would like it since he saw that I have read James Baldwin before and really enjoyed it. It's this beautiful edition. I'm pretty sure this copy is from the 60s. It's from like 1962. And within it, for some reason, there's somebody wrote a poem about giving this book to their brother. And it's in there, So I have that now, and I'm so excited because I've loved both of the things by James Baldwin that I've read. And so I'm sure this is going to be wonderful as well, although it's significantly longer than the other books of his that I've read. And then second James Baldwin, the next 3 books are gifts for my mama for my birthday. And this is Go Tell It on the Mountain by James Baldwin. And this is one of those books where it's a classic, so they like don't put the synopsis on the back. So I don't know what this is about. And I know there's a movie, and I have not seen the movie. So I'm, again, sure it's going to be fantastic. I love James Baldwin's writing so much. I think he's just incredible. So yeah, love this, very excited. Next I have How We Fight for Our Lives by Saeed Jones. My neighbor's dog just came outside, so if you hear barking, that's what it is, sorry. This is a memoir about being black and gay in the South, and I've heard, again, such good things about this book, so I'm really excited to read it. And last I have Longborn by Joe Baker. If you know me, you know I love the Pride and Prejudice movie. I've read the book when I was like a teenager and I didn't love it, but I want to read it again soon, just like see if my adult brain enjoys it more. But this is basically Pride and Prejudice told from the perspective of a servant in the Bennet household. So I'm really excited because that is just such an interesting perspective. And honestly, again, I've said it before, I'll say it again. One of my favorite tropes, even if it's like repetitive and annoying, is reading the same exact events from different people's perspectives to like get a feel for what different people were thinking and experiencing during those like same exact events. So I'm sure I'm gonna love this. I'm very excited. And now for my monster list of ebooks. So they're not in the order that I bought them, and they're not in alphabetical order or by genre or anything. They're just in the order I wrote them down. So the first one is The Princess Trap by Talia Hibbert. This is, I believe, also I don't have any of these books synopses in front of me, so if I don't know, I'm just gonna like say the book and then move on. But if I have an inkling, then I'll like talk about it. So The Princess Trap is about, I believe he is a prince of England maybe, and she is a woman, and they have like a sexy encounter that's caught by the paparazzi, so they kind of have to like pretend to be engaged, and it just looks cute, so I bought it. And then I also have Won a Bet by Talia Hibbert. I literally don't know what this is about. I think I saw maybe Mina Reeds read this and really liked it. There's another one on here where I bought because Mina from Mina Reeds like rated it 5 stars on Goodreads and said, oh my god, iconic, and I was like, I didn't even read the description, I was like, okay, I'll buy it. So Wanna Bet, don't know what that one's about. And then I have Sufficiently Advanced Magic by Andrew Rowe. This was a book that I for some reason saw, I think it was in like an unboxing video, like a mail unboxing video that Daniel Green did on his channel like last year, like literally a year ago, and I think I just liked the title, and then I looked it up recently and it had good reviews and it was pretty cheap, and so I bought it. And I believe that's about it's fantasy, and there's a magical like place, and you have to go in and like do something, and this kid's brother disappeared and now he's of age and he has magic, so he's like going to go into this like, I think it's like I don't know, maybe a maze building, and he's gonna try and find his brother, something like that. I don't know, sounds fun. Next I have The Craft of Love by EE Ottoman, and this is a historical romance set in New York City. I don't know what time period, sorry. And it's about, again, I don't know what craft he does, but there's like, he's some sort of maybe a blacksmith, and it's just a romance, and I believe it's like a trans main character. But the reason I bought this is because it looked good, but also because I pre-ordered this author's book that's coming out this month, I think it's coming out this month. If it is, I'll like put the release date on the bottom, and it's called The Companion by EE Ottoman, and it is about a woman who's been trying to break into the New York literary scene and is just like striking out, really burnt out. Again, historical romance, not sure what time period. She gets the chance to go to upstate New York and be the companion to this kind of reclusive novelist, and I believe she kind of enters this weird relationship with the novelist and his very intense, passionate neighbor. And so it is a polyamorous, queer, trans romance, and I'm so excited. It literally sounds so good. It has a beautiful cover. Yes, so excited. Okay, next I bought Freshwater by Akwaeke Emezi. I don't know what this book is about. I've heard a lot of people talking about how you know, you can call it fantasy, but also is it fantasy if it's not like this Western idea of what is fact and contemporary and like true, or is it like a semi-autobiographical kind of fabulist? Anyway, Freshwater by Akwaeke Emezi. I've heard literally nothing but good things. I loved the one book by them that I read, which was Pet, and I'm just sure it's going to be fantastic. This is the one where Mina rated it 5 stars, and I was like, sold, and that's the Band Sinister by KJ Charles. This is a gay historical romance, and it's about this guy, and he has like a terrible reputation for like holding these like orgy parties, and like he runs with a bad crowd, but I think it turns out that his like crowd is just like, they're all queer, and when they're at his house like having parties, they get to just be themselves and like not be worried about being judged or whatever. And this guy and his sister, she gets injured like nearby, and they're forced to like go to the guy with the bad reputation's like house during one of these parties, and I believe the main character like is discovering things about himself, enters a relationship with the host. Anyway, it sounds great. Next is the Aosawa Murders by Riku Onda, I believe their name is. And this is a murder mystery where I believe there's a house party and everybody is killed except the daughter, and she might be blind. And then there's like a crime novelist and a detective who start investigating. I'm not sure beyond that, but it looked really interesting, and it was one of like the deals of the day, so I picked it up. And again, I really like the cover. Beyond the Dragon's Gate by Yoon Lee is a Tor.com short story that I bought for 99 cents. I have just been, I don't know. I want to try sci-fi more, and I feel like this might be a good thing because it's like 25 pages, and I might like it. I don't know. I've heard good things about Yoon Lee's writing as well, so I don't know what this is about. I think there's like the main character is a scientist. I don't know. Another short story I bought was Blood is Another Word for Hunger by River Solomon. This is my first thing that I've read by them. I've read it already. I read it last night, and I really enjoyed it. I kind of wish it was longer, but I also think if it was longer, the writing style would have had to been more traditional or whatever, and I think the writing style is perfect. It's perfect. This is a horror fantasy short story. I can't really tell you what it's about because it's like 25 pages. You should look up the synopsis if you're interested. I think it was very good. On a completely different note, the next book I want to mention is The Midnight Bride by Katie Wilde. This is a fantasy romance, and I believe she has to enter a competition of some kind. Barbarian guy in love with her. That's all I need to know. Next is The Beast of Beswick by Emily Howard. This is a historical romance, and it's obviously a Beauty and the Beast kind of inspired. Honestly, I feel like romance is the only place where I'm like chill and interested in fairy tale retellings. When it comes to like fantasy and contemporary, I'm like, I don't care. But this is Beauty and the Beast inspired. I believe he was scarred in some way, and so he's a recluse, and she kind of has to hide out at his house. Mayhaps, I'm not exactly sure. Anyway, I thought it was cute and cute sounding, and it has a nice cover, so I bought it. Next is The Last Final Girl by Stephen Graham Jones. I don't know what this book is about, but I love final girls. I think that's just like an interesting concept, and I've loved the other thing by Stephen Graham Jones that I read, which was The Only Good Indians, and this is another like novel of his, and I own Night of the Mannequins, which is like a novella, so this is another like full-length novel of his. The Other Bennett Sister by Janice Hadlow, another Pride and Prejudice retelling, and this one is from the perspective of Mary Bennett, who is the least liked Bennett sister. So I'm very interested to see what this would be like from her perspective. I believe this book also like it runs the length of Pride and Prejudice and then like beyond. So it goes like, it imagines what would happen after the end of Pride and Prejudice. So I just think that would be really interesting. And then the last one I've already read, and that is Seducing His Secret Wife by Robin Covington. So I picked up this book because it is the April read for the Indigenous Romance Readathon, a read-along that's being run by Beautifully Bookish Bethany. This was very cute, and it is about Justin Ling, and he is half of an extremely successful like tech startup. Like he's like a billionaire, and one night, and he's like kind of like a bad boy. He's like the black sheep of his family. He likes to party and he likes to play poker and he likes women. Anyway, on one of his trips to Las Vegas, he runs into this beautiful woman, Serena, and they get drunk and they get married. And then in the morning, she's gone, and it turns out it's his business partner slash best friend's little sister. And so they had to like kind of keep their relationship on the DL for like publicity's sake, but they're also falling in love, but they both like have like emotional issues, so they're like scared of commitment, so they have to work through that as well. And it was very sweet. I kind of wish I had been able to get it from the library instead of buying it, because it's only like 150 pages and I'm probably not going to read it again, and I'm probably not going to read the other ones in the series, but I'm not mad that I bought it, you know what I mean? What's up, gang? It's me like an hour and a half later, and I realized I literally forgot 3 books. I just skipped over an ebook, and I completely forgot to bring these 2 downstairs with me. And I know that my last vlog was like basically half me getting these, so I don't need to add them, but I did buy them, so they're in the haul. So Gideon the Ninth it's about Gideon, and Gideon's basically like an indentured servant to the 9th house, and it's like a far future sci-fi fantasy world where there's like different planets and there's like necromancy and stuff. And basically the princess, although she does not go by princess, she goes by Reverend Daughter, gets the opportunity to like go to this other planet and compete with like the heirs of all the rest of the planets to become this thing. It's a little confusing. You'll figure it out as you go. And Gideon is like the guard who gets to go with her, and it's fantastic. One of my favorite books, probably my favorite book so far I've read this year. And then I also bought Heron the Ninth, and this is the sequel to Gideon the Ninth. It immediately follows the events, so I can't say what it's about, but it is also fantastic and I love it. And then the ebook Harbor by Rebekah Weatherspoon. I think I just skipped this one, and basically this is the 3rd book in the Beards and Bondage series, and it's not available at my library, so I bought it. And this is the one that everybody recommends too. It is a throuple romance. I believe each of the main characters recently lost their partner, and they kind of like bond over their grief, stuff like that. So yeah, those are all the books. Back to other Morgan. And I think that's everything. So as you can see, I've acquired a lot of books and it's starting to stress me out. So hopefully with this little haul and being able to like see how many freaking books I keep buying is gonna be the kick in the butt I need to actually start reading some of these. How's that look? Oh, Jesus. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know if you're interested in reading any of these. Let me know if you've read any of them, which one I should read first. I'd love to know. And I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!